Think of me as your personal exam coach, here to unlock a strategy that's going to instantly elevate those Nebosh scores. If you're prepping for your exams right now, you already know that just memorizing the material, yeah, that's only half the battle. The real challenge is presenting that knowledge in a way that absolutely commands top marks from the examiner. And that is exactly what we're going to master today. So, let's dive into the core challenge every single candidate faces when they sit down with that paper, figuring out how to stand out. You need to prove a deep, professional understanding, right? You don't just want a good answer. You want an answer that screams authority. How exactly do you elevate your response from a standard pass to a clear distinction? Well, the secret is surprisingly simple, but it is so incredibly underutilized. Mastering and citing the right International Labor Organization, or ILO, conventions is your ultimate exam hack. When you weave these international standards into your answers, you instantly show a global strategic grasp of health and safety. It proves your knowledge goes way beyond the basic textbooks. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Foundations of Safety Culture. Notice the crucial distinction between these two absolute pillars of OSH. Convention 155, along with Recommendation 164, is all about structural policies. Specifically, Article 4 focuses on establishing a national occupational safety and health policy. But on the flip side, Convention 187 and Recommendation 197, those are all about driving a preventative safety culture and pushing for continual improvement at the organizational level. Knowing the difference between policy structure and safety culture is absolutely essential for framing your answers correctly. Zooming in on C155, we hit a real golden nugget, Article 16. This one directly addresses the employer's responsibility for safe workplaces, equipment, and processes. You should always connect Article 16 to exam questions focusing on an employer's fundamental duties. It's basically the perfect anchor for any scenario asking what the employer fundamentally should have done to prevent an incident. Moving right along, here's Section 2, Managing Specific Workplace Hazards. First up in this group, when you're dealing with chemical hazards in an exam scenario, you've got to remember Convention 170 and its accompanying Recommendation 177. Whether the scenario throws a factory spill, improper storage, or worker exposure at you, this right here is your baseline standard. Now the real trick is how you break down C170. You'll want to deploy Articles 7 and 8 when your answer needs to discuss chemical labeling and safety data sheets. And be absolutely sure to cite Article 15 whenever the hazard requires worker information and training. Doing this shows the examiner you know exactly where the rules for labels, data, and training come from on a global scale. Let's shift to physical risks and air quality. For Convention 148, along with Recommendation 156, do yourself a massive favor and memorize this exact hierarchy of requirements. It'll perfectly structure your answers on noise, vibration, and air pollution. The convention emphasizes prevention first, then exposure control, followed by technical measures, PPE, and finally health surveillance. If you use this exact flow, you're literally handing the examiner a perfectly structured ILO-backed response. For those broader occupational health scenarios, think well-being, ergonomic design, or long-term health risks, tie in Convention 161 and Recommendation 171. This standard perfectly covers what's needed for comprehensive health hazard assessments, ongoing health surveillance, and applied ergonomics in the workplace. Next up is Section 3, High-Risk Environments and Equipment. Whenever you face a scenario involving dangerous, moving parts, connect Convention 119 and Recommendation 118 directly to the physical requirement for appropriate guarding of dangerous machinery. It's a highly specific, super effective reference to pull out when discussing entrapment, entanglement, or crush hazards. Now, what if the exam throws a massive, catastrophic event at you, like a major industrial accident with widespread consequences? Convention 174 and Recommendation 181 form your absolute go-to reference here. This standard is designed precisely to mitigate that kind of catastrophic risk. Within C174, you really want to highlight Article 9, citing its specific elements: major hazard control systems, risk assessment, technical controls, maintenance, training, and emergency planning shows a truly comprehensive understanding of major hazard control. Honestly, it's essentially a cheat code checklist for writing a flawless answer on disaster prevention. Construction sites are dynamic, complex beasts. So for any construction-related hazards, you're going to rely heavily on Convention 167 and Recommendation 175. This is the overarching international standard that dictates safety on building sites all over the globe. To get a bit more granular on construction, keep Articles 13 and 14 in your back pocket as essential references for site safety. Specifically, they're incredibly useful when it comes to safe workplaces, access points, scaffolds, and ladders. Falls from height are a massive testing point, and dropping these articles into your response will make your answer totally rock solid. Finally, for one of the most specific and heavily regulated health risks out there, firmly link Convention 162 and Recommendation 172 to any question involving asbestos management. It's short, it's highly specific, and it is absolutely essential to know. All right, let's wrap this up with Section 4, the final revision trick. Grouping these together is your ultimate final revision tool. By visually categorizing every major convention we've just covered, from general OSH right down to asbestos, you connect the exact ILO numbers directly to their specific hazards. Seriously, take a mental snapshot of this matrix. Locking this into your memory will save you so much precious time when that exam clock is ticking. But listen up, because here is the most crucial piece of advice we can give you. Merely listing these numbers won't get you top marks on its own. Examiners don't just want a memory test, They want to see application. Writing as per C155 and just leaving it at that, that's a huge wasted opportunity. To unlock those highest marks, you need to follow a strict three-step process. First, state the specific ILO requirement. Second, actively connect it to the actual hazard described in your scenario. And third, connect it to the resulting risk and the practical control measure you're recommending. This approach ties the international standard directly to the real-world problem sitting right in front of you. Apply this framework and practice integrating these steps into your mock exams. So, I'll leave you with this thought. On exam day, are you just going to recite textbook facts, or are your answers ready to command true authority with the ILO standard? Make sure to follow for more Nebosh and HSE exam-focused content to keep elevating your safety expertise. Good luck out there.